Friends and family, welcome to the channel. My name is Skylent, and I'm always trying to find games for you so that you don't gotta dig and do the dirty. You can just pick the games, play with your friends. That's what today's list is about. The most popular co-op games around the world that are on Steam. So pretty much everyone has Steam. It's really easy to see the stats. That's why we're talking about it. I can go to steamcharts.com and clearly see who's playing what right now. And I have the very specific numbers, which should be prime time Friday, freaking in the evening here for America. A lot of these games got a lot of people playing them, so this is going to be the top 10. You're going to see some names that you've heard of, but I'm going to throw in my 2 cents about it. So these are games, if you haven't tried them yet, cooperatively, they're probably good to go. So yeah, if you've got some free time, a weekend or two, some friends or two, hopefully, then jump into these games, you're going to have a blast. So let's do that. Let's get into the list. Top 10 most popular co-op games. Okay, starting out the list, poetically enough, I think, is Left 4 Dead 2. At 14,862 players, it's looking like a lot of people are still playing this game. Now, I know a lot of people are looking forward to Back 4 Blood, which is Turtle Rock Studios, original developer of Left 4 Dead's new game, but I think in the end, Left 4 Dead 2 is just always affordable, everyone always owns it, everyone knows it's a good time, and it's just a really safe game to play cooperatively with anybody. Now, I know it's like zombies, and it can be really difficult and challenging, but it's not too horrifying, it's a little silly, and at the same time, there really is just like a lot of like organic gameplay, gamer moments that can happen in this game. I guess, over time, has it shown its age? No, I actually think it's still genuinely fun to play today, and I think especially with spooky season around the corner, I'm going to be jumping back in. Hopefully we can all play, join my Discord. But yeah, there's games like Vermintide, there are other titles that have zombies in them, survival games especially, but in the end, Left 4 Dead 2 really is still special. Now, this game is mostly cooperative, but you can also play co-op versus another team who is cooperating against you in a campaign kind of thing. Very innovative, but for the most part, no, yeah, as a co-op game, hard, strict rule set with this list, guys, Left 4 Dead 2 definitely deserves to be on this list, definitely fun, and I can totally see why it's still lasting so long, even despite, competition actually rearing its head in a couple different titles, even from the original developers. Number 9 is Valheim. 15,079 players are jamming it right now. In fact, I'm actually going back into it. I stopped at the dragon boss, I gotta summon him, and I gotta slap that dude's face. But Valheim, I'm playing solo. Kinda wish I was playing cooperatively, used to. Maybe I'll do a run through once a certain update hits, we'll see. But Valheim it hit pretty hard, and it has been pretty viral, but it's sort of waned down a little bit because the updates have been a little bit slow. I think they want to do these big giant expansions to kind of rev up hype again. So we'll see what happens. I know they're adding in, I think spider bosses and stuff like that. Who knows what's going to happen with Valheim, but OG Valheim is seriously just a really cool, fun experience. I know it kind of looks a little bit janky, and if you didn't jump on the hype train, definitely buy this game when it goes on sale, probably this fall or when it's sale. Yeah, Valheim is really fun. Yeah, it's a Viking survival game, but it has all these little minute little mechanics that make it so fun to play cooperatively. Oh my god. Even though I'm playing mostly solo, there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can do with the building mechanics, the nuances of that, and also the specialization of combat. Maybe somebody focusing on ranged gameplay, somebody using clubs, and different monsters definitely have different weaknesses that you want to take advantage of, and you might even have people who just are gatherers or are chefs and stuff like that. There's a lot to this game that focuses really heavily and balanced around playing with, I would say, a group of 3 to 4. That's really where it's at, but definitely 2-player co-op, I can give my seal of approval. It's really fun. Dude, keep in mind, it gets really hard. It's very difficult, it's very challenging, so maybe for people who are definitely gamers or more used to gaming, it's not Minecraft, but it's like Minecraft for the mature, maybe. Valheim is the game for you. Now, speaking about mature, 7 Days to Die. Yeah, at 17,325 players, 7 Days to Die blew me away. I played this like a year ago, and oh my god, this was one of the best cooperative experiences I've ever had in my life. And when I bought it, it was out of such like resistance and hesitation and reluctance. I didn't want to. I was like, this looks like crap. This looks like another zombie survival game. But I am telling you, I was wrong. Everyone else is wrong who says that this game's poopy-doopy glitchy and okay, maybe a little, but actually there is so many cool things. I don't even want to spoil them, but basically I just want to say that this is a curated experience. Like the map, the way it's designed, the way the zombies interact in their AI. While this game isn't perfect or anything, it actually has stuff that no other game has. You're never going to get this in Minecraft, Ark Survival Evolved, or DayZ or anything like that. When you go into houses and things, zombies could be hiding in closets. There could be pitfalls that you fall into. There are hordes of zombies that will roam around. There's just a lot of of organic gameplay moments in 7 Days to Die that I really appreciate. I also really like playing cooperatively. There is a big focus on player specialization. A little bit, you get that in Valheim, like I mentioned, in some other survival games. An extreme amount in 7 Days to Die, to the point of maybe you even have somebody who totally specializes in just engineering and building up the base. You might even have just a medic. You might have somebody who focuses on going out through the dungeons or, you know, looting the town. Something that you kind of do expect in the archetypes when you actually watch shows like The Walking Dead or, you know, zombie movies. You always have the runner, you have the guy who just sits and engineers the base or whatever, and the builder. Yeah, that kind of happens, and I really like this game so much. I think it actually like in terms of gameplay, balances so much just perfectly that it makes it kind of horrifying, kind of fun, kind of silly, incredibly replayable. But in the end, graphics are a little janky. It does take a big machine to run. So if you can play just with one extra person, maybe just a handful, but really as a co-op experience, 2, 3, 4 players, so good. You can play it as a server game. Doesn't really run that great, but 2 players, 3 players, 4 players, oh my god, 7 Days to Die is a must play. And we have the viral hit of last year, Phasmophobia. 19,109 players. Phasmophobia just had a new update. People are jumping back into it. So this game, oh my god, especially with spooky season right here. Dudes, this game is so cool. Now me, I am never scared of ghosts. I don't care about ghost movies. That is just my thing. I'm more of a monster guy. I'm such a monster guy that in fact I collect bestiaries. Okay, I will just read the monster manuals of games and you know, movies and stuff. Phasmophobia is a game about hunting a monster, which is ghosts, and putting them into a bestiary or figuring out which ghost is, you know, actually haunting the house. No, you don't actually hunt them or anything, and I know they're still ghosts. You don't directly interact with the ghost exactly, but more so in this game than probably any other ghost hunting game, and especially with the cooperation, where you maybe have some people with different gadgets, you know, just like all the ghost hunting shows, somebody with like, you know, the cameras, or somebody with the thermometers, and maybe somebody with the ghost box where they're trying to talk to the ghost. And then it also interacts with the noise level of the players. It interacts directly with what the players do and how they collaborate. And the icing on the cake is I love that you have to use the in-game chat and to talk to the ghost and to talk with your teammates to, you know, coordinate. But then if somebody dies, you don't know they died basically, and all of a sudden you just don't hear them anymore. You're just like, snake, 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 and you know, that's it. So Phasmophobia, definitely, I can see why everyone's playing it. If you haven't jumped onto it, there's going to be a sale this fall. Spooky season, do it for yourselves. And is it truly scary? And yeah, playing with a bunch of people who are afraid of ghosts. Yeah. Even me, actually. Yep. This game, you'll poop, and it's good. It's good poop. Next, we have Terraria. 22,472 people are playing this game, and I have to make a full admission here. While I have played every game on this list, to some extent, Terraria, I have not, and I have owned it for a little bit. And you know, I'm really sad about that. I just actually finished vanilla Minecraft. I'm always jumping around from so many games and I never finish them, so I've been trying to go through my backlog, so sorry. But Terraria, I know, is a game that everyone has loved, but I'm so surprised it is still so popular. It's ridiculous how popular this game is. It's on all these different platforms, but I also know from the friends and family, from everyone always asking to play with me, Terraria is a fun game to play with friends. Now, I don't expect it to have the creativity aspect of Minecraft to the full extent, but I do love the bossing, and that's what I see from that. And yeah, again, I love monsters. Terraria is a game that I'm going to be playing this fall. So absolutely, I want to be hunting the monsters, I want to do the bosses, and I'll definitely co-op with you guys to play it. But actually, just doing some research, multiple forum threads, all I see is basically the game is more fun with friends, especially with co-op. And I see a lot of people actually playing this game with maybe like a son, a daughter, somebody, you know, younger. It's really fun for the whole family, and I think that's really neat. You know, just kind of like Minecraft, that's definitely a game I've co-opted with a few people, and I think Terraria is definitely a game that needs to be on my radar. It is, and it should be on your radar too, because after all these years, people are still freaking jamming. People are still jamming to Terraria. Is it 2D Minecraft? I guess a little bit, but I think there's something a little bit sincere and unique to it, and I gotta find out for myself. All right, halfway on the list, Ark Survival Evolved. 32,904 players. What? Now, this game is also on the Game Pass. Keep in mind, though, if you download it on Game Pass, you can only play with Game Pass players, and Steam is its own thing. And then, yeah, I don't think it's cross-play otherwise, but Ark Survival Evolved, this game is really janky. Like, this is like the jank survival game. It runs bad on my machine, probably runs bad on your machine, but at the same time, nobody cares. It's dinos, you can throw poop at dinos, and you can just run through it. Now, I was a big fan of the OG vanilla Ark Survival Evolved. I know it's kind of evolved from that and become really gross and ridiculous and fantastic, and they have all these expansions, and that's actually really refreshing. That's probably why a lot of people are still playing it. But for those of us who kind of haven't played since maybe back in the day, or maybe have never played, you should know the game is still pretty cool. It's still a little not perfect, but there's still something special about this game. Even when you have games like Valheim with, you know, giant trolls and stuff like that, dude, Ark is just filled with a bunch of dinosaurs. You know, it's Ark Survival Evolved, and I think that just sells it enough. You wake up on the beach, there's brontosauruses, or I don't know, fucking whatever, you know, velociraptors, tyrannosaurus rexes, and you know what, that gimmick just, I don't think it has gotten old for too many people. And of course, they have constantly expanded it. Now, some people probably consider this game a PvP game, or, you know, a game like Rust. And I think, you know, from what I've played, what I've seen, and what most people have shown on YouTube, it's a great co-op game. It's a really great co-op game, and coming out of the era of DayZ, where most of the games were PvP, Ark was the one that's like, hey, PvE matters, you know, player versus monsters, and, you know, let's put dinosaurs in there, and that interaction has just been fun and novel for me. So yeah, you go ahead, set up your own server, go ahead and maybe look up some videos on how to tweak it, you know, so that it's not too grindy for just, you know, you and a friend, or maybe just a couple of people, and you're gonna have a great time. But if you go vanilla and just jump into a server, probably won't feel so cooperative or so nice. Just keep that in mind. That's the only difference, but it still made the list. At number 4, we have Warframe. 41,833 people are still warring with their frames. Okay, anyways, so this is part of the list where maybe you might notice that some games are missing. That's because I'm not going to count MMOs, because most that I saw that is popular were pretty single player, and then you play with guilds and stuff like that. It's not exactly a co-op experience, the ones that I saw. Warframe, though, also is really debatable should it be on the list, because it is a co-op game. Through and through, you're meant to play with 4 players, but they actually have a lot of systems that I would love to complain about that make it kind of hard to just play through the game with a friend. Now, anybody can play with anybody at any time, pretty much for anything, but the balancing, the tweaking, the grinding, a lot of the gameplay loops make it very uncomfortable. But if you can start this game or jump in with somebody who's more understanding, and they'll, you know, play with a lower level frame and level up, you know, right alongside you, I think you can actually have a really good time. Now, Warframe is kind of grimdark. Warframe is also really action-packed and very fantastically power fantasy filled, but in the end, I actually think this is kind of a game it's just so comical and so dark that I think, yeah, no, it's fun for most ages, you know, maybe like teenagers and up. It's a game that's also on a lot of different platforms, even from the Switch. I did a review on the Switch, and I think it's a game that if you haven't really grinded too much into it or played too much of it, you know, because there's a lot of complaints about a stagnation of content lately, no, it's still a really cool game, especially for first-time players. If you're gonna run through it and play with a friend, oh my god, especially you guys discover this game together, woo, man, that's something. But yeah, as a review of a returning player, there's a little bit of a lull in content. So it's pretty cool that it's still so popular, but for me personally, I'm gonna bypass this one. That's just, you know, my review. There isn't exactly like a lot of like cool monster hunting moments or like cinematic stuff that you can kind of co-op quest together through. It's very arcade, it's very grindy, and it's not for everyone, especially for extended period of time, like years and years and years. So yeah, for me, this is my jumping off point. But if you're new with a friend, oh my god, have fun. Number 3 on the list is Dead by Daylight. 50,606 players are playing Dead by Daylight. This game, okay, so I mentioned this in a previous list, but basically Dead by Daylight is a fantastic game to use as like a foundation for just kind of being social. It's a great game to play every weekend, just kind of get together, maybe even nightly, just to kind of hang with your friends. So it's 4 players versus a monster, which is played by a player. So technically this is a PvP game, but you can always queue up as just your group of 4 or just co-op it and just kind of run through it as if, I mean, yeah, the monster is a player, but it feels cooperative, okay? It really makes sense, especially considering you're probably playing these games or looking at a list like this because you want to just socialize and be with friends, you know? You just want to be unalone. Dead by Daylight, I've seen in so many Discords, I've seen so many friends play it specifically to play with other friends. I think it's really cool that all the different monsters have all these different abilities. There's a lot of interactions with that. It's a very popularly streamed game. There's tons of content on YouTube, and it just seems like it's really refreshing with the new new monsters and new ways to play the game constantly. So Dead by Daylight is the most popular asymmetrical multiplayer game, which instantly just puts stars in my eyes. But I also have to admit, guys, that Dead by Daylight barely touched this game. In fact, other than free weekends, I finally, just the other day, because it was on sale, I purchased it for the first time. Yeah, for 10 bucks. So I'm planning to play this with some friends, and hopefully you guys can join me with that. I'm a total, true noob, but overall, this game is just really freaking exciting. Even still, seeing how popular it is, it just hits a lot of notes, especially spooky season. Everyone can understand the horror cliches, the horror moments. It's not too horrifying or anything, don't worry about that. It's not too scary. I think it's still fun for the whole family. But yeah, get the family in here and I don't know, try not to die. Try not to die. Try not to die together. That's the best, family time I could ever think of. Number 2 is Grand Theft Auto 5. At 52,729 players. There's a bunch of games that have cooperative elements or cooperative modes, but overall, I think most popularly, they might be played in other modes. Like, you could even mention Dota 2 or Team Fortress 2, because I love Man vs. Machine, but in the end, Grand Theft Auto 5 is one that's still going to make the list, because I do think Grand Theft Auto Online is what's fueling these numbers, and I do think it's people playing with each other and hanging out with each other, maybe sometimes racing, maybe sometimes going into PvP, but a lot of it is those co-op heists and just kind of hanging out together is what fuels the numbers of this game. And you know what? I have to admit here that Grand Theft Auto 5 is a game that I actually played and inspired an entire list video I hope I can do soon, but I played it as a date. Like, I went on a virtual date inside of Grand Theft Auto 5. We went to the, the pier and then everything, and, it was kind of so epic that we ended up flying to California to actually see the real Santa Monica Pier, which, by the way, it's okay. But regardless, that was so cool, just going on dates inside of Grand Theft Auto 5, going on co-op heists, just playing this game and just kind of vibing is so fantastic. So I need to play way more of it. I would, but it does kind of take maybe, I don't know, a stronger solid state drive to load up. The load times are pretty crazy, but man, so many people are playing this game, and I do think it's just because online is actually really cool. Something to worry about is the grind of it, the progression of it, but if you're playing with a friend and you're going through all the heists and you're working together from the bottom to, to the top, we started from the bottom, now we're here, that is a really awesome story to tell, and I hope you guys get the chance to sing it. We are finally at number 1 for the most popular co-op game around the world that is on Steam that we can track, statistically. That is Destiny 2. 115,800 players. Now, this might be because of a few reasons. It's probably still going to be number 1, but we just had a new announcement, new expansions, all that stuff. Destiny 2 has been getting a lot of goodwill lately. There's so much drama when the game released in its first year. Then we had competition with a lot of different games like Anthem. Yeah, competition. Anyways, and then, Warframe's always around, but actually Destiny 2 has stayed true and has been building and building and building to a point where finally, they released a free-to-play version. You could test it out and everything and try it out, level up. But man, people won't stop harassing me to play this game. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I'm playing it. I think I'm gonna play it this winter. Destiny 2 is so popular, and I know it's a fun co-op game. Even people who normally don't do games that are FPSs or even cooperative dungeoneering or raid style games, maybe because it's like a little too challenging. No, they can still jump into this game and still play it and still find a home and definitely play with friends and have a great time. So yeah, normal MMOs and stuff like that aren't going to make the list. Other games that have multiple game modes aren't going to make the list. Destiny 2, I know it has a PvP mode, but let's be honest. The co-op, the end game, playing through with your friends and just kind of having a chill sort of grindathon, this is the best game to do that probably. Shooting mechanics are solid, graphics solid, and overall it's just very welcoming for a wide variety of types of players, different genders, different ages, and I think people can really appreciate it. So even though it's a game I've barely touched and played, I still can acknowledge all the things it does right, and now that I've seen as a service, it is continuously servicing its community, adding on these new raids and new challenges and expanding the story and the world. Absolutely, I want to be a part of it now, and hopefully we can all jump in together and play a little co-op. But that's it, guys. Those are the 10 most popular co-op focused games around the world on Steam. Now, I did take some liberties with how specific I was with co-op and what exactly that meant. If you want to fight it, duke it out in the comments below, please and thank you. If there's any underrated co-op games, though, also, that's really the question I want to ask. Please mention it down there. It's the Friends and Family Show. Let's all work together to try to play games together. And also, maybe I'll do that list here pretty soon. Underrated, cooperative games, free to play and all that stuff. I'll try out different genres, but just want you guys guys to find the games that you're looking for so that we can all have fun. And that's pretty much it. That's all I can ask other than liking and subscribing. Please keep the hype alive. Remember, my name's Skylent, and I'll see you, hopefully, again next time.